Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? Grab your coffee, grab your seltzer, grab a snack, and let's get into it, okay? You're going to want to be prepared for this one. So, in Snellville, Georgia, okay, I'm going to show you this picture before we get into the dirt. Not saying that those shelves are any cleaner, because you can now tell, because there's no baby formula. And you always know to go to the description box below for all the good links, right? Well, there's a link in the description box below for a video. And this video is of Potato, who let it slip during his speech in Japan that the high gas prices are due to transitioning to green power. Yes, and this moron, he wants to force us into not being able to afford to drive to work or anywhere else so we can buy electric vehicles. Because we can all afford to do that, right? Yeah, with everything else of the costs of just rising and rising and rising. We can all afford to now buy, oh, I don't know, how much are electric vehicles now, hon? I can't afford it. Can you? No, I didn't think so. I guess he thinks it doesn't matter if they lock us down again because the so-called monkey virus, because no one will be going anywhere again anyway. On to this. Lordy, lordy. Look who's 40. Maybe 6 years ago. So, the American Empire, how great it once was, is now in a state of accelerating collapse. And there is no turning it around. The once great empire now cannot achieve the most basic of tasks that even isolated jungle tribes can still manage to do, which is feed their own children. We can't even do that. So, but somehow, with all the high-tech razzle-dazzle, iPhones and high frequencies and Wall Street trading, electric vehicles and space rockets and all the rest, America still can't figure out how to feed our children. But something that ancient Homo sapiens have been able to do for hundreds of thousands of years, even before the invention of the wheel and the spark of a flame. Humanity's ancestors knew how to feed their children. They also survived without the arm candies. How the immune system lasted, of course, is beyond my imagination. Of course, even though America can no longer feed its children, the American Empire is fully able to deliver a deadly arm candy that causes infertility, death. There never seems to be a shortage of anything that might take your life, huh? Yeah. But when it comes to feeding our children, the USA fails at that admirably. It's amazing, isn't it? All of the sudden, food scarcity in the world is attributed to Russia blocking a single port in the Ukraine. No. It's as if we are now supposed to believe that literally all the food on the planet had until recently been shipped through one single port in the Ukraine, then distributed globally. That's a port that virtually no one in the USA had ever heard of until last month. It's absurd. And the absurdity of the food scarcity blame game against Russia is beyond insane. So, under the illegitimate potato, as I like to call him, regime, we end up with a nation that focuses on death and war and the weapons industry and stock market inflation and money printing. That's their favorite, I think. Yeah. Media propaganda, vaccine coercion, and more, while ignoring anything that might protect our children and our babies, or even provide them food. Dear me. Under the control of the heartless Democrats, we now have a corrupt government wholly committed to getting rid of these children. Bombs, even carrying out acts of domestic terrorism, or false flags, as I like to refer to them as. But there's zero willingness to protect the border, protect the dollar, protect our children, and protect individual liberty. And while America is sending $40 billion to Ukraine, mostly to purchase weapons and fund propaganda campaigns for brainwashing the public, there's no embracing of free market dynamics in the USA, which would provide an abundance of baby food options without involving government resources in the very least. The free market can solve this problem, but the free market isn't allowed to operate. Instead, we get FDA-protected infant formula, corporate cartels, and market monopolies that are highly vulnerable for failure. This is a microcosm of what we're about to see across the economy on a much larger scale as Western civilization rapidly unravels. It seems to be no coincidence that Potato and the Democrats are also celebrating the mass murder of babies under the legal term, of which I won't even say. These Satan-worshipping creatures have no compassion for human life, and they despise babies being born alive and demanding resource sources such as food. And when Potato and the Dems claim to want to provide food for babies, they merely pretending to have human compassion. Alligator tears, They would actually rather these babies never be born. And the great replacement strategy is, after all, quite real. Americans are supposed to die, never be born, and then get replaced with migrants across the wide open border. And for those babies who actually survive birth, they face starvation or having fraud of... I'm getting ahead of myself. They're just demons who hate children. So, we're living in a time of things that we never thought we would ever see. But yet, here we are. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. It's what nightmares are made out of. And there's no turning back. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fearless.